This is the unplanned hour. We talk, we riff.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Unplanned Hour. I'm Brad.
And I'm Charlie.
And a couple of quick fire questions for you, my mate, before we get started. Are you ready?
Oh, fire away.
Right, I want honesty on these ones. Right. First one for you. Diddy parties. What's your thoughts?
So, I shouldn't really be telling anyone this. I've been to a couple.
You've been to a couple of them?
Only a few. I swear to God, only a few.
Fantastic.
They were.
There's your exclusive. He's been to a couple.
Been through a couple.
On to the next. Quite a serious question, this.
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
What's your thoughts on bleached arseholes?
Well, it's funny you should say that. There was many of them at the Diddy parties, so no problems.
There you go, folks.
Now,
You asked, you got.
Who's called them questions out? Tom from Forum.
Yep, Sweaty Tom.
Or that little bold one.
Oh, man. Oh, fantastic. These come in. Shout out Fraser. Anyone that knows Fraser, you know they're pretty standard questions. Probably on the light side for him. So shout out you for the, really important subjects, that everyone needs to know. So appreciate it, mate. Thank you for the questions.
Absolutely.
I'll put that one down now. I've got them out of the way. Right, folks. Little bit different today. We thought, seeing as June is Men's Mental Health Awareness, we thought as a platform, it's important for us to raise a few issues, go over it. We're going to keep it lighthearted because the whole point of our platform is just to have a laugh and take people's minds off things. So we're going to have a discussion about things on ways that we've coped with issues that we've had. Got a fly going around me right now. Brilliant. So we're going to use issues that we've had, give you a brief sort of overview on things that are going on, and how we helped each other to get through it. Obviously, again, like I said, we're going to keep it light. There's going to be funniness in it. We're not going to be sat here for the whole thing, keeping it dark, because if you are listening to this and you can relate to a few things, you might be struggling in a minute. We want you to still have a laugh while you're listening to this, but also have a bit of relation to this as, two normal blokes that have got different issues throughout life as we're going. We're going to raise it. We're going to get it out there, and hopefully, we can help you to take your mind off things a little bit. So, brief background for me, I suppose. Troubled childhood. Feelings towards that is that I got my childhood taken away from me for a lot of reasons, whether that be various forms of abuse as a kid, a mum with numerous mental health conditions, which obviously, as you can imagine, with things that you find when you come home, to her situation, hospital sections and stuff. I got shipped up and down the country to different places, and I think from that, being in different places, it makes you feel isolated. Could never hold down a friendship group because I wasn't in some place long enough in order to get proper friends or anything. So these things are hard, and you don't realise things until you get older. I think as a child, I could never point out things that were bad and the reasons that they were bad, because obviously I'm a child, and if you look at your parents or whoever I was living at the time, whether that be grandparents, whether that be wherever I was in the country, you look at everyone as safety, support and whatever, and you kind of don't understand things deep enough to know. So for me, it was as I got older, so when I got into my teen years, I started to understand things a little bit more, because I was finding out myself in regards to, why am I angry? Why have I got such a short fuse? Why have I got such a big defense mechanism on things. Why is that affecting other things in my life? Because I'm going down one path, and you have to look at that and know that I feel like you either go one route where you carry on and you let that overtake it and you go down the wrong path, or you look at that and go, no, actually, my situation, I'm going to use that to not go down that route and break the chain as such. So I feel that I probably started to really process and understand things, I would say, probably after I left secondary school. Now, as we've alluded to in previous episodes, me and Charlie have been best mates since, early times in secondary school. And he got to understand what was going on. And you said yourself, mate, didn't you? When you came and met my family, you were quite surprised because you'd met them, hadn't you, and seen that it looked normal from the out. And then you'll probably remember when we've been out on nights out and I've had phone calls, text messages and stuff to say that something's happened at home and I've had to go back. Yeah. And I can remember you being like, I never expected that.
No, you're right. Absolutely right. But I was only saying earlier, I remember a time when your mum invited me over for a Sunday lunch. And as you said, it seemed as everything was normal from the outside looking in. But then getting to know Brad over the years and him telling me his story, you realise that some of the things he'd been through, obviously, are not what a normal child or young adult should be going through.
Yeah, definitely. And it's things can look normal from the out, and until you feel that you can open up, it's hard because you do bottle it up. And I never felt that friends from an earlier age were the sort of people that I can speak to or that would maybe understand what was going on. And even when me and Charlie first became mates, obviously our conversations weren't to do with family issues or anything else going on. It was obviously, lad chat, having a laugh, bantering and whatever. It was, I suppose, as we got older and you start to mature a little bit more, that you digest things better. And as I started to, because I couldn't hide things that were going on at home, you know what I mean? Because if I was going home and dealing with a situation, Charlie would be my first point of call. If I needed something, he would be the person that I go to. So then I began to explain what was going on and the background behind things. So he became very knowledgeable on my situation very quickly. An example of these things is because we lived, as we've alluded to before, in the same area, and he lived around the corner from me. So a lot of what we would do is I would message him saying, oh, mate, this has happened at home and whatever. And it'd be, something quite bad. And straight away, he'd just message me saying, right, I'm on my way round. And yeah, he'd be in within 5 minutes. He'd be at my door. And then we'd go out. And from where we lived, we had a set route that we used to walk.
Yep.
And it would take us, depends on how fast we walked. And sometimes we could go maybe on a slight different route. We got to a point you could go one way or another.
Yeah.
But you're probably looking at what, 3.5, 4 hours for the walk that we do?
Oh, well, easily, yeah. We say we met at 10, you won't be back till 1:30.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So it's a good old walk, plenty of time in. And I think for both of us in situations where, not just obviously, we didn't just do that when we were going through hard times. That was a routine of ours anyway, was this walk is our time to, whether we're just talking about football or anything else that, as young lads do, you just chat away from everybody else. But also, it was a big thing for us. And especially being at the age that we are now, to look back and realise actually how much that helps, because just to get it off your chest, it makes a massive difference. And I used to speak to him about everything with no judgment. And because obviously I don't have a big friendship group, I don't have people to reach out to. Charlie being my best mate, but obviously I call him my brother. I say we're family because it goes more than best mates in my eyes. So I could tell him anything. I know I've got his back in 100%, and he will do anything he can to support me and be there for when I need it. And that was such a big thing for me. And on them walks that we used to discuss, we'd start off by talking about the direct cause of what's happened and digesting it, and sometimes me just venting, and then we'd be able to naturally change that into where then we'll be seeing something and we'd be having a right laugh about it, and then the rest of the walk then is back to normal. We'd be talking about funny things and saying, "Oh, mate, should we go and do this? Should we go do that?" It just made such a big difference. And I feel like for everyone listening on this, it's easy to feel isolated, and that you do feel that you're on your own, because I've been there many a time where something's happened. The initial thought is, I feel isolated, I feel alone, I can't escape. Now we know in certain circumstances for other people, their heads are in a lot worse place than what others are.
Yeah.
And that obviously inevitably ends up in, as we've shared on our other video, is there's a lot of people that really they don't see a way out of it. They don't see a light, and we know where that ends up.
Yeah.
And obviously this is why we're raising awareness on that, because I felt where I've had no choices, and I felt really bad. But I reached out and I had my conversations, and that was massive for me on my journey. And there's a few people that know deeper into, the details of what I've gone through growing up. As I've alluded to, I had my childhood taken away from me. I've not had that. But reaching out and speaking to your friends is such an important thing. I cannot stress this enough. Please reach out. And as we've said, our platform here is predominantly for us to have a laugh. We come on and we don't plan for what we're going to do. We have, we come on, and just before we click record, we have our brief, "Hello, mate, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah." And then we click record and we come on and we have our chats about whatever. We see where it leads. We have a laugh. That's the whole point. And if you're listening, we're hoping that it does take your mind off it, because that's just what it's about. It's about stories and sharing. And as we talk about, is contact us, drop us a message, drop us a DM, send us a voice note. Yep. You know what I mean? We're going to be getting in and engaging. I'm always happy to chat. So do not ever feel like you're isolated and you cannot speak, because you can, and it's important, and we will always listen. 100%. You watch our video that I posted not that long ago to do with June and raising awareness. We would rather you contact us at any time. And I think a lot of people stand for this, is they would rather you contact them than attend your funeral.
100%.
I think that's very, very important to do that. But if you've got, and I know some people might feel like they haven't got friends to talk to, so we are an option. You are never in a position where there is nobody. And I know some people haven't found us yet, but hopefully if you are somebody that's found us and you do feel that you haven't got friends, or you don't want to speak to family, you might not have family. I don't have it on my side, so I can relate on that. I can't go to a parent or a sibling. I don't have that. So I'm very isolated on mine. So Charlie's a massive network for me.
Yeah.
So if you have found us, always think that you can speak to us. Like, we are, obviously, we're always making light-hearted jokes and we're always having a laugh, but ultimately we're also here to listen, and we can relate, and we can help you deal with things. We'll do what we can to support you. So reach out.
100%.
That's a big one. And that's the thing for me. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've not gone through anything. We all go through different things and different severities of what that is. And if people want to message me and delve deeper into that, and you might be able to relate, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you. More than happy to, whether it be via messages, whether it's voice notes. Even if you asked me one time and said, you are struggling, you'd love to open up, well, I'll have a video call with you. I'm quite happy to, and Charlie's exactly the same. We can come on here, we can invite you in, and we'll have a video chat with you.
Yeah.
And we can let you just vent and talk to us. That's not a problem. We're happy to listen anytime. We'd rather that happen than anything else.
Yeah, 100%. Look, we wouldn't even record the conversation. You can have just a conversation with myself and Brad. And look, as Brad said, it's so important to talk to, if it's not myself or Brad, just a person, a colleague at work, manager. And if, as Brad said, if you haven't got family, just anybody, somebody is going to be there to listen to you and listen to your story. And, it's best to speak up. Everybody should be able to speak up. And I know people are scared to speak up. I've probably been scared myself. Brad's probably been scared. But once you've got it out and you've spoke about it, you feel 10 times better.
And things to use, I know from our talks and how we used to discuss things, a big thing that Charlie would discuss with me is, and I'm sure you guys can use this as well, is, if you feel down, don't.
That's the best saying. Yeah. If you're feeling down, don't.
Just don't.
But all jokes aside, look, if you are feeling down, as Brad's alluded to, everybody will be there to listen to you, and especially me and Brad, as we've been through things ourselves, and as we've been out on walks, and as Brad said, we've discussed not just things that are going on in our lives, but football, just getting out, having a chat. It just releases that pressure, that stress that you've got building at home or at work or anywhere. You just need to get out, chat, go for a walk on your own. Go for a walk on your own, listen to some music, do things that you enjoy, reading, writing. It might just be the help you need.
That's it, definitely. Yeah, 100%. There's always a way, even when it doesn't look like it, but there definitely is. I use my things to be a better parent. So I have two little girls, and my sole focus is on giving them a childhood that's they're going to remember. I want them to be close with me as much as they can be throughout their life. I'm almost living my childhood through them as well, for what I do on days out and all sorts. I try and do it's I use mine for positivity. Now, I'm massively lucky that I'm in a position of, I'm in a relationship, I've got kids, I'm happy, and we're in a good place, we're strong, and we stand by each other through thick and thin. No matter what it is, we stand by each other, and I use my journey to better that and get myself in the position. I still have flashbacks of stuff that's happened. I still struggle. I still miss family members that I don't have contact with every day. Every day I think about it. But I've got to a point now where I felt like at one point I really struggled to see where I was going and where I was going to end up, to a point now where I am sad about the situations. I do feel it every day. But I also know I've got more of a purpose with my own family that need me. And also, I think what we're going to allude to soon is what Charlie's found difficult. And that really links into another big reason as to why we started doing this podcast. Because obviously, we're not round the corner from each other now. We're in different countries. So we can't just jump in the car and meet each other and that's it. It's a lot different. So we found that even through normal struggles that you're going through and stuff, now that we're not close, we have to adapt and find other ways of doing that. So, and we know that there's other people in that same scenario. This is why we've started this, so that not only are me and Charlie talking, and it gives us a set day that we're always going to guarantee to have a chat. I mean, we speak pretty much every day anyway, but this has given us a new lease of life to actually reminisce and talk about things and have a laugh, and hopefully people want to keep listening. Fantastic. And it makes a difference. So obviously, like I said, from being a child to where I'm at now, I've really struggled, and Charlie was massive for that. And I almost feel like the tide was turned in terms of issues when we've got to adulthood, and we all know from jobs, relationships, or whatever, your directions can change. So Charlie will tell you now where he sort of was in his jobs to then what job he's gone down, and his stories to where his journey's taken him, and then the reasons to now where we're here doing this and discussing. So Charlie, if you want to sort of go on about where you've come from and show people that even as you get later on, these things come out of nowhere, and you kind of go, oh my God, how do I deal with this then?
Yeah. So basically, I was working a job, 7 years ago now, and it took me to Ireland, working abroad. And when I was working there, I met my partner, who I'm with now. I've got two children, which is wonderful, obviously. And we initially agreed to live in England. So, as as me and Brad have said, we used to see each other all the time. So I probably used to see Brad every Saturday, and that was a routine pretty much. Yeah. Even when we had the small ones, you know, I used to go and see Brad, have a walk, and as Brad's alluded to, any problems you had with kids, those who have kids will know, geez, it's hard work. Get out, have the chat with Brad, get home. Happy days, I'm fresh, I've reset, I can go again. And then it come to X amount of years later, we made the decision to move to Ireland, and that's where I am now. And for me, being extremely close with my parents, having a small friendship group, as Brad said, Brad's like my brother, it was extremely hard. And if you've done it yourself, you'll understand how isolated you feel when you've got no one to talk to, no one that you can go out and have a walk with or nip to the pub with and have a drink with. And also the fact that the job that I'm working is extremely lonely. I don't work with people. So I don't get the opportunity to talk to anybody. So the time that I get to speak with Brad before this podcast throughout the week, it's a special time because I can release that stress, that horrible build-up I've got. And Brad's there to listen. And it was only a few months back, and I don't mind saying it, but I said to Brad, I was so close to having like a real breakdown. But I reached out to Brad, and that was the best thing I could have ever done, because I was in a serious shit state. I didn't want to go to work. I was unhappy. I've got 2 kids. I don't want to be unhappy. My kids need me to be happy. My partner needs me to be happy. My parents want me to be happy. And I just felt at complete rock bottom. But I opened up. I spoke about it. And where I am now is completely different to where I was October last year. And that just shows the power of opening up, speaking to friends. I probably didn't tell too much to my mum and dad because, you know, you don't want to panic your family. Yeah. But I felt that safe space, as I always have with Brad, where I could say to him, this is what's going on. I need some help. And he was there. He helped me through it. And he'll probably tell you, Brad will tell you, I wasn't the same person, was I, last year when I saw you last year? I was in a shell. I was completely in a shell. I'd lost myself. You
were completely different. I noticed even from like little meets, like before you'd even opened up to tell me certain issues, and you'd maybe let on little things, but I definitely felt there was more than what you was alluding to. So I sort of dropped in little hints that I'm always here, and I'm glad that you eventually got to the point where you went, right, I'm almost at a crisis, and you fully opened up to me. So I'm really happy that it got to that point.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have done that, not saying that I would have gone down a certain route, but who knows what would have happened. I was at such a low point. But for anybody that is going through that and they feel they're at the lowest point, open up. There's nothing better. It's like a weight's just gone. It was like I'd released this new life, as you know what I mean. And now I'm okay. I can look. You're never going to be 100% happy with the situation, living away from your hometown, from your best friend, from your parents, but you adapt and you sort of get through. And you know it's hard, but you get by. And here I am now, sad. No, I'm only joking. No, I'm only joking. Look, I'm in a good place now, and I think if you asked anybody around, they'd probably tell you the same. But if you do live away from your friends, it is extremely hard. And when you're close, like me and Brad are, like I am with my parents, it's like your heart's been ripped out. And there's no, it's like, if anyone's ever lost a grandparent or a parent, that's what it felt like to me. It was the worst feeling. And probably for the first 2 and a bit years I lived in Ireland, it was tough. It was tough. But I'm at a point now where I'm okay. I get by. I'm happy enough.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's things are never going to be perfect, but if you can get to a point where, as a minimum, it's manageable, then that's a bonus, isn't it? Because it takes you away from feeling that you're going to be in a crisis to feeling that you've accepted certain things and you can sort of move on then at that point because you have addressed it and dealt with it, however you deal with that. But as long as you can move on with your life and decide whatever you want to do, then that's the main point.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'd never ever felt like that in my life. I'd always thought, I've got no mental health issues. I'm bulletproof. Until that one day where I woke up and I was like, it hit me, and I was like, you know what? I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay. I'm really. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to get up and take my kids to nursery. I don't want to go and speak to my partner about anything. I was just in this shell, and it was. I've never been in a place like that. It was horrendous.
We've always been out there, and as you can see from how we talk and the stories that we tell, you know, we're probably what a lot of people would class as typical lads. You know what I mean? Bantering, just firing it back. You know, quite dark. That's how we are. That's always how we've been. So we can be quite full on when we're together and stuff, but that's how we are. That's what gets us through. Our sense of humour is the same. So, you know, from how we are, again, always being out there and stuff, to then noticing somebody not quite be the same, you know, and it can be even little things like I could say a joke, and if I don't get the reaction I normally would, I'm like, normally, like, it could be something that we've laughed about before, and I could mention it or say it, and the reaction was different, and it's like, I'd normally get a certain reaction, you'd bounce back at me in the same accent or another accent saying something back, and if I just get a little, even like a little snigger, it's like, right, okay, that wasn't quite the same. Like, and you just know, you pick it up. And I think I'm in a position, I'm sure Charlie's as well, I'm not for labels on things. So I do think we live in a day and age where there's a lot of labels that get chucked around. And I know for people like me, I get scared of talking about things opening up because I don't want to get labelled as having something.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing if you have got something. But obviously for me, I understand that, you know, from when you go through things, feeling down and feeling depressed is a natural feeling because you're going through a hard time. So I think for a lot of blokes out there, we're quite proud.
Yep.
And we don't want to have labels or be seen as weak or whatever. But just because you're feeling down or whatever at the time doesn't mean that you've got anything wrong with you. You're just going through a hard time, and it's natural to feel down and depressed at that time. That is just natural. Doesn't mean that you've got anything long term. Doesn't mean you're going to have to go to a doctor or get tablets. It means nothing to do with that. It just means that at this moment in time you are struggling. And obviously, there's a big long scale on people's heads and where they're at, because there are people out there that genuinely do have, you know, conditions where they do need tablets or they do need therapy or other things like that. Obviously, people are at opposite ends of the scales, but, you know, and we can appeal to everybody. You know, if you're going to a point where you're hurting yourself, you're deeper on that scale. So you need to speak to someone, you need to reach out to professionals to get that help. Yeah. If you're at the lower end of the scale, like I probably see where we were, where I'd say 99% of the time we're pretty solid mentally, you know, we're out there, we're bantering, we're fine, you can deal with things, but you do become to a point where it does build up. It does feel like I could burst. And that was a time where we've both got to a point where we go, right, I cannot hold this in any longer, because now I'm starting to have my head go down a route that I don't want it to go. So now I need to let it out. And when you do let it out, it does have a massive weight lifted. It almost feels like, I had times where I feel like my head was just going to explode. It felt like I was pulsating, and it literally felt like it was going to explode. And then when I got it off my chest, instant relief. It doesn't, I'm not going to say it's going to address your issues, but it certainly helps just to go, right, I've still got these issues. I've spoken to somebody about it, and I can feel like I can start to process it again and deal with it. And it doesn't make it easy. No. But if you can process things in your head to keep yourself away from going down a dark path. That's ultimately the main goal here. You know what I mean? We're all out to support each other. That's what we're about. So
definitely.
You just got to get out there and speak to everybody.
You have, and I don't think as men we realise how important and powerful it is to use our words. So just opening up, like Brad said, he opened up to me, I opened up to him, and the release. If you've ever been in that situation, you'll understand when we say the release you get once you've told somebody, and they're like, you know what, mate, it's okay. I'm here for you. Tell me your story. Put the arm around you. You need that. You need that. You really do need that. And if you are bottling it up, you really have to let it out. And I say that because I bottled it up for so long, and then I finally told Brad what had gone on, and it was the best thing I've ever done. And I can honestly say that if Brad wouldn't have been there to listen to me, I don't know.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's not to say that you're going to be somebody that's going to go and do any harm to yourself, but that point where you go, I don't know now, I'm at that point, that's quite a scary place to be.
Yeah.
It's the not knowing, isn't it? It's a very scary place to be, as you was alluding to then. That
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what you like on a fence. You don't know good, bad. And some days you wake up, you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm okay. And then the next day, I'm not so good today. And then it all builds up to the point where it's, as Brad said, you feel like you're going to burst. And that's the point we don't want anybody to get to. We'd rather you message us, voice note us, jump on a little call with us for 10 minutes before we start a podcast.
That's it.
We will listen to your story and we'll help you the best that we can.
And this is the thing that we're obviously trialing with this podcast, whether it continues to grow, whether it gets stagnant, whatever. The whole point is if we can take a few minds off things for people, then that's a big thing for us. And we're wanting to grow, we're wanting to try and get it as big as we can and keep pushing it. We want that to go to the point where we've got a bit of a movement going, where people just have a laugh. We're two normal lads just chatting about stuff. Obviously, beginning episodes, we've been talking, reminiscing about stories. And obviously, as things go forward, we're getting questions in, we're engaging with people. We might even try and get clips of people telling a funny story that we'll include in, and we'll digress it and obviously have our way with discussing that person that sent a video in or a clip in. Or this is what we want. It's going to be funny. Do you think that for me having my childhood taken away, does that mean that because I've spoken now, it makes it okay? No, it doesn't make it okay. I feel down a lot of the time, but I also know I've got to get on with things. But I do. Most days I have moments of flashbacks and stuff, and it's hard. But I do open up. I do talk. And it's not as if I have to raise that I'm feeling down about that. I might just message Charlie and say, sat at work today, I've been doing this, this, and this, and then just have a random conversation that's just taking my mind away from that.
Yeah.
So we're still in a position where we still struggle. Do you think that Charlie living in another country, that he's not going through any sort of pain now? He's got that every day. But as he said, he can manage. He's got his responsibilities to his partner. He's got his responsibilities to his kids. He's got a lot of good, positive things there with the foundations that he built. He's got an amazing little family bubble that he's got there, and he's loving it. Obviously, there are things that he does struggle with, as he's just told you. But so we're still going through things. We're still going through the motions. But like with this, we talk, we banter. It makes it a good laugh, and obviously, I think now we are a platform. We have got people listening into us, and I just feel it's an important message to get out there and just have that discussion so people know it's not just, us doing a random podcast just talking rubbish for the whole time. You know what I mean? There's reasons and stuff to it. And I mean, we hope that you enjoy listening to our stories and the stuff that we talk about, and the longer that we go on, the more we're going to go into other things and just continue to have a laugh. And that's the main point of what we're doing. And jump on the journey, because we're not just, we're not celebrities, we're not famous, we've not got all these things going on. We're just two normal lads that come from the same place, that our stories on paper, our lives are completely different from being kids, but we've been brought together, and we're at a point now where we're at the ages we're at with kids and partners and stuff, and we're still here doing this. So there is a light, and just reach out to everybody, and I promise you'll get through it.
100%. Look, some days will be better than others. As Brad said, it's if you just text your friend, what you done today at work, it just something to take your mind off that situation you got at home, again at work, wherever. A little text to your mate, fancy a beer, kick around, watch the football. Just something that will take your mind away from reality, just for 10 minutes. That's what you need sometimes. A little bit of a time away from reality, and then. But as Brad said, you will get better as you go further along with speaking to people.
And that's it. Just get the hashtag going, live, laugh, love, and everything will be okay for you.
Yeah, we'll get it above your sofa with a crushed velvet, no problems.
Yeah, crushed velvet sofa, and
Live,
just
laugh,
write in pen on the wall in a Sharpie. Write that on, and that'll sort your problems out for you.
We can provide that service if you'd like.
Yeah, I can assure you we have really good handwriting. So if you want any signs writing up in your houses of positive quotes, between me and Charlie, we can come out with positive quotes. Obviously the first one we alluded to was, if you feel down, don't.
Very important, that one.
Have that in your bathroom.
Yeah. When you sat there.
Yeah. When you sat there, in the bath holding a toaster. That's going to make a difference to you, isn't it? Charlie, have you got one off the top of the dome? Can you get one for us?
Let bygones be bygones. Something me and Brad know. Well, to put a bit of context to it, when we used to go on the walks, for whatever reason, this saying just came up, and we were in tears for a long time because we hadn't heard it. It's such an old phrase, and anybody that's ever used it before will know that. I don't even know what it means.
I can't even remember where we heard it, but I know we just heard it somewhere, and so every conversation we'd be talking, and then one of us would finish with that saying, wouldn't we?
I'll tell you what I used to do as well, and this is for people that, again, if you're struggling a little bit, I used to have a Wednesday reset. So what I used to do on a Wednesday lunchtime, because I work nights, I used to order a kebab and chips, 12:30 on a Wednesday, and that'll sort you out. Promise you.
And that's why he's enormous now.
Yeah, that's why I have to sit this close to the camera.
Yeah,
I'm too
I've
big.
got a skinny filter on.
Yeah, I promise you, I have. I'm really, really big now. Kebab every week for 6 months.
God, I know that feature. Jesus, when I worked in the nut house, jeez.
Oh, yeah,
getting home, mate, from late shifts. Yeah. Driving home, we used to order food so it'd be there for when I got home because just drained and couldn't be asked to cook.
Well, it goes back to what we've been saying. It's like that thing of that's your release from being at work in that situation. We think this is shit. Go home, have a bit of a takeaway. It takes you away from that shite you've been dealing with all day, and it's something as small as that can just change your mindset for that half an hour you're eating your kebab and chips or whatever.
Like for us, we often now get on at weekends and we go on the Xbox and we're playing, FIFA or zombies or something, and we go on that. And, both of us in a position, it's like, just putting the kids to bed and then we'll come down. Oh, yeah, let me know when you're on and stuff. We'll just be gaming. We'll be gaming till stupid o'clock in the morning at a weekend.
Yeah.
And, it takes you back to your childhood where we can game. And, we get one day a week where we can jump on as lads, gaming, chatting away, having a right laugh. So we use that. Obviously, we haven't been able to do it for a little while up until sort of the last few weeks because, one of my kids being as young as what they are, obviously it's quite hard when they're waking up quite a lot, but we're back into a position where we're back on Xbox again and we're playing and, it's a good laugh. It's again, I look forward to a weekend because I know in the evening that, if we're both free in the evening, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be jumping on and doing whatever. And that's a big release for us because we're both into gaming. So And I'm sure there's a lot of blokes listening who are big into gaming. So if you don't have a motivation to try and get on because of where you're at, switch it on.
100%.
Even if you have an hour, just switch it on and do it. Because I guarantee you'll go, you know what? I'm glad I've just even had that hour because it just felt good to get on it.
And the thing is, if you play Call of Duty or FIFA, me and Brad will play with you.
Yeah, jump on. Let's get a lobby going.
Yeah, but we'll play 10, 15 of us. If we want to play it, we'll just have a laugh. It will be completely unserious, just a good laugh for however long I'll have around. Wow, what, mate? Me and you play for like 3-4 hours sometimes, one game.
Well, for anyone that plays COD Zombies, you know how long a game can go on for. If you start getting higher rounds and stuff, like they can go on. So, yeah, if any of you play and you start dropping us, you know, your gamer tags and stuff, we'll get a little lobby going on some of the weekends when people are on, and we can all be on, mic'd up, just chatting a load of shit while we're playing.
It's sort of like, as Brad said, it's a journey, and we're sort of building like this. It's like a club. You know, we want all these dads, lads. Obviously, if women are listening, brilliant. We support you as well. But we're mainly focusing for this time being on the dads, big group of us, gaming, doing this, taking our minds off the stress of life and just having a laugh. And if we can do that on Xbox, let's do it.
That's it. You take your role as the man in the family. You know, you look after your family through whatever's going on. You're defending your family all the time. You know, you almost feel like you could be the one that's in charge of your finances. You know, you're the strong one in the family for your kids, and you're dealing with, you know, family issues, whether that be yours, whether that be, you know, your partner's family. And we all know the dynamics of them sort of situations and how they can go, because families aren't always easy. So you've got to deal with that. And you're in such a tough position. So whatever it is, whatever's going on, we'll deal with it. We're in a position where we think whatever's going on, we can deal with it. Let's jump on and chat. Let's have a phone call. Let's go and play Xbox. And imagine all of us in a group, like say playing Xbox, just mic'd up, and you can see what we're like with our banter and stuff. You know, we're just chucking it around all the time. So instantly we're going to take your mind off it, because we'll just start bantering you. We'll have a laugh. We'll take your mind off it. It's the whole point of it. It's just a laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah, regardless of what people 100%. Think. I know comedy's subjective, but for us, that's how we deal with things. We get quite dark with our humour and what we do. And that's how I want to be. And opening up to people of all backgrounds. None of us were angels as kids. We all know what we used to get up to. But it just shows that when you get older and you do your thing, you know, we can all still be there for each other, regardless of where you come from. Whether you come from a poor background, rich background, doesn't matter. You all have problems. We all end up in the same place when we're gone. So There's no point trying to put anyone on a pedestal or put anyone down. Let's just get on with it and support each other. And ultimately, you get through life then with less regrets.
100%.
So
100%.
And that's what we do here for this. So
yeah, like Brad said, no matter where you're from, who you are, what you do, we don't care. All we want to do is help you, support you, and if we can be that positive thing that you listen to on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you listen to us, if you listen to us, hopefully you do. If you hear our voice, you think, yeah, these lads are sound. You know what? Yeah, I'll go and play on Xbox with them on Saturday. It's something to look forward to. As I'd probably text Brad on Monday, Tuesday, I can't wait for Saturday, mate. Do this podcast and go on the Xbox later. And it's something we look forward to it. And once you've got that, your weeks go quicker, and you've got the purpose. You're going for a purpose. Obviously, some people's purpose is the children, like it is for mine and Brad. But some people just need, you know what? I'll get through the week. If I can get through the week, you've made it. You're another week 100%. Down. You've done it. For those people that you go, you can definitely
find the time.
100%.
You can definitely find the time to do that. We both got kids and stuff, and don't get me wrong, we're in a good position where our partners are supportive of us doing this. And I mean, my eldest, both kids were in bed, but the youngest one will possibly wake up at some point, and you know, she might want a bottle or something, and we put the plan in place so that I can come in here for, you know, the hour or so that we're going to be recording. I mean, it's longer if, you know, it takes longer to load up the laptops and stuff, depending on what goes on. But, you know, we've got partners here that we're in that position where they're quite happy to cover things while we do this, because they know that it's important for us to do this and get out there and promote our message. That's the main thing of this. So we all know that your backgrounds are different and your situations are different, but as we've alluded to it in other things, drop us DMs, voice notes, all sorts, and get it around. If you know people, like we keep putting it out there, we put clips out every day across different socials and stuff. So, just get hold of us and send us stuff. And even if you've got memes, and if you're into memes, I'm into memes. If you've got memes, send us some funny ones that you've got, and then I'll send some back, and Charlie will send some back, and just stuff like that. Let's just have a good laugh. Let's make things relaxed. I feel like the whole point of this episode being slightly different is reaching out to say that we've got our own issues, and we're doing this for a reason. So just jump on board with us.
Yeah,
be a good laugh.
Yeah, I tell you what, if anyone's on Xbox when this comes out next weekend, on Monday for the Saturday, let's get it on. But if you're shit, we're not playing with you. Just put that out there.
I'm going to get rid of you straight away. I'm not having it. If you're crap at FIFA, don't even bother, because I'm not having someone who's going to ball hog, lose the ball, and concede. I'll be fuming.
And if we're going zombies, if you're taking my kills, I'll kick you. I
will take offence to people. It's the worst thing when we jump into a zombies lobby, and at the beginning of the early rounds, when you're knifing them, or you're like just a couple little shots, and someone comes over because they bought a gun from the beginning and start taking all the kills. Oh my God, it's infuriating. So if you're that person, I don't want to play with you.
No, if you're that person, and if you're listening to this, don't listen again. Okay?
Yeah. Turn it off right now. This is your warning. Do not listen. I don't agree with your zombies tactics, so get out.
Yeah, and if you're going to comment on this, be prepared for next week, because we're going to have you. Especially if you're bold.
Or sweaty.
Yeah, if your name's Tom and you're from Forum, we're talking to you.
We're talking to you, mate, because you're that guy.
Yeah. We're on to you now, Tom. It's a game changer now.
You're that zombies guy, mate, and you're also the guy that's on FIFA, and you're 0-0, you're getting later in, and you end up nailing the opposition from behind, getting a red card, and then we end up losing the game 1-0 because you've sent us down to 10 men, possibly 9 men if you're a real dickhead.
Yeah, and that is definitely a Tom thing. Tom, if you want to get me, you can't get to me. I'm in a different country, so you're
Tom,
a loser
I have a
now.
dog.
Better get the kids down now, and they'll scream at you.
Yeah. I will throw dirty nappies.
Ooh, he did smell like a dirty nappy a couple of nights. I remember that.
Yeah, well,
Under his armpits. Ooh.
No.
Big greasy head on him.
That same black shirt that he wore for the whole time that we used to see him out every week.
I know we've said it so many times, but it was like a black silk shirt, and it was just... the shirt looked greasy, didn't it? The shirt looked like he'd rubbed the grease in his hair and then just gone, let's have it all over this nice silk
Brings
shirt.
it out to cook his food.
Disgusting times.
It's gross. Makes my stomach turn.
Gonna have to take a minute while I think about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm blocking any Tom accounts just in case you're him.
Yeah. If you're bold, if your name's Tom, you're blocked.
Yeah, instant block. I don't want to see your messages about this.
Well, he might not. To be fair, I think he's probably still got a good head of hair, but we're talking about other specific bold people.
Yeah. Shout out to some of you know who we're on about, because I have received
goose
some
killer.
messages. Yeah.
Never forget that.
Make the noise. Make the noise of the goose that died.
I can't. It was too sad. The tears of the goose.
There you go. That's my impression.
I won't tell anybody because we'll probably get in big trouble what happened, but it was a horrible experience. As we said in the other episode, if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. Yeah, it's not very nice.
I'm scarred for life over this.
So am I. We should have actually got the RSPCA involved in this. And we'd have got away with it.
I can't believe you've done this.
We would never have got away with that. Because you threw the stone.
Womp, womp, womp. Plot twist.
No, all jokes aside, it actually wasn't us. We're not killers.
No.
Born killers.
But I've witnessed you throw stones before and smashing the windows gone on greenhouses.
No, not me.
So I'm exposing you for what you are, you pillock.
I would never do such a thing.
Hashtag Charlie's a pillock. Get it going, get it viral.
If this goes viral, that would be fantastic. But I won't say the name of the place, because if you found out that it was us that smashed your greenhouse, we are very sorry. It was a childhood game. And if we did smash the house windows, that wasn't us. There was the bold one. But me and Brad couldn't throw fantastically, so we missed most of the time.
Whichever direction I aim in, it's going in the opposite direction.
So it was you that killed the swan.
Yeah. And today on Plot Twist episodes.
Yeah. I smashed greenhouses, Brad killed a swan. But that is now just because there's probably going to be some people that go, no way, they haven't done
Oh my God, can't believe you've done this. Listen, we're having a laugh, chill out.
Yeah, we didn't really do well. We didn't kill a swan. That's
we were
it.
witness to a murder.
We were witness to a murder, but we did smash greenhouses. Sorry, Mum and Dad.
Apologies. It was all Charlie. I am the innocent party here.
No, absolutely not. Some good times around there. That's some stories for.
You were awful as a
another
child,
time.
and I'm sickened about your behaviour. How dare you act like a child, you absolute pathetic little idiot.
That's why I'm in a deep, dark place now.
What do you mean you was never perfect as a kid? Huh? Idiot.
I was a fantastic child through school. Straight A's me.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
I've had a few people before, like, in arguments when they're like, oh, but you was no angel. Oh, brilliant. Bravo. Cool.
Mate,
Who was an angel as a kid?
Nobody. If anybody tells me that they've never done anything like that, they're complete liars.
Telling me, like, people haven't done, like, your knock-a-door runs and stuff.
Oh, do you know why we've just got a little bit of time left? I'll remind you of a time when, for those who have watched Batman before, where we used to live, there used to be a big park, and Batman was being filmed at the hall or castle or whatever, and I don't know how we even managed to get into this, but we were like climbing onto the set of Batman to get chased by security across the whole park. And, well, me and Brad didn't get caught, but the other two people we were with ended up jumping. Why they went into the bushes directly down from there, who will ever know? But, yeah, they got caught. Me and Brad got away with it, so.
I remember that point where, because they chased us a little bit, hadn't they? And I think we'd gotten to the point, because there was this bit that you could go down a little pathway, and then you could climb up this wall and get onto like the gardens bit at the back end of where they were filming. So a couple of times we'd got onto there, and then you'd hide behind the trees and see how close you could get to the set before they saw you. So we'd done that a few times, had little chases, haven't we? And then we was walking back up this path, and it was really quiet. And I'm like, I'm just going to walk back to this corner and just see like what, if anyone's like coming around the back road, because it's just like weirdly quiet. So everyone's like, yeah, sound. So I've literally just walked to this corner, and there's a van and another like car that was coming round full of security. So I've just bolted back round this corner, and I'm going, run, run. And like me and Charlie have just jumped over this fence into the golf course. And obviously the other lads then ran and hid in some bushes like further down. So they got caught. Me and you were just sprinting across this golf course. People there like playing golf. Me and you were just sprinting away from these lot, just like, I ain't getting caught. I am gone. Didn't we? We just ran.
Yeah, and
to
I
like
don't
the like midsection, wasn't it? Like trees.
Yeah, I don't think the other two, and we said it for years after, that the other two lads that we were with, I don't think they actually believed that Brad was telling the truth about these vans coming. And I was like, nah, I'm going. So yeah, we got away with it, didn't we? And then I think we came like back in through another entrance to the park, and we didn't get caught, but the park was closing, and we got picked up and just dropped off at the gates, didn't we? Like, and we were like, well, you don't know what we've just done. No problems.
That was a good adrenaline rush that was.
Oh, it was incredible.
A good adrenaline rush.
Yeah, there's 100% going to be people listening to this that, well, maybe not have ran on the set of Batman, but they would have done shit like that.
Well, I think there were 4 of us, weren't they? And then one of them went home because he was going in. Then the other person that was with us, I think when they got caught the first time, obviously me and you got away.
Yeah.
They didn't want to come back in, and me and you were like, we just want one more time. So I think they were like, no, well, I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna go home. I've had enough. Like, yeah, no problem. Then me and you went back in, and then that's when they closed the park. And then obviously there's a bit, isn't there, where the wall goes a little bit lower because obviously all the gates were closed, and we knew we had to get there. And I remember going into a big tree area, and we was hidden behind the trees because they were going around the park on carts and stuff, looking and seeing if we were still there. And we had to move around different bits, and then eventually we got out and stuff. But remember that adrenaline rush of hiding.
It was mad.
Then sprint to the next bit of cover, and then you're ducking behind walls, and you're poking out, and then you're running again, and you get there. Oh, what a laugh! Oh,
it was so good. And like I said, there's going to be people not that have done that, but that have probably smashed greenhouses and played knock or run or whatever, And if you have done that, let us know, because we want to know if you smashed a greenhouse before.
Tell us your stories, because
we want the stories. Laugh. We want to hear people's stories. That's because, well, we've shared our stories. Share yours with us, and if they're funny,
got to embrace the childhoods. You know what I mean? Doing stuff like that. I'm about embracing. We all know as kids, you do stupid things that you look back and you go, idiots or whatever. But I want to embrace these stories because they're just funny to tell. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's idiotic, but I'm not going to look back and go, oh, I can't believe I did that. No, I was having a laugh, whatever. We're having a laugh. Let's embrace it. Tell us your stories. No judgment for us. I want to hear them.
That's the thing. And you got to say, would you change what you've done? I wouldn't. And I'd probably say that Brad wouldn't change what he's done either.
Regardless of anything now, we had a good laugh. And that's the main thing. We can look back and appreciate that we were just having a laugh the whole time, and it was good. So I'm just at that point now where I'm like, no, I enjoyed my childhood, did some silly things, don't we all? Let's just get to reality. Nobody's perfect, nobody's all innocent. We all do things. Let's just discuss it and have a laugh because it's being real. Let's not be fake about it. Let's just be real about what we used to do.
Yeah, 100%. And loads of people have done it, mate. And like we said, let's hear your stories. And if they're funny and we like them, we'll banter you and shout them out.
Too right. But no, we hope you have enjoyed this. We know it's a little bit different to what we were doing before. We just felt it was important to have this message and do it slightly different. We've still obviously had a laugh through it. The next episodes we'll go back to just bantering, having a laugh, and hopefully more of you have sent us in some questions and some stories, because we'll tell what your story was, we'll shout out who it is, we'll discuss it, digest it, we'll put posts out and stuff for you to comment on and whatnot. But no, listen, thank you all for listening again. Appreciate all the support that you've been showing us over the last few episodes. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to continue to do this as much as we can. Hopefully it keeps growing. Thank you for listening for this one, for something different. I've been your host, Brad.
And I've been Charlie. And thanks very much, guys.
See you on the next one, guys.
Cheers,
See
guys.
you later.
Bye-bye.
You never know what's next, and that's the point. It's a wild ride, no script, no map. Off the cuff, and we're cool with that. One good laugh, one deep thought. Buckle up, ready or not. This is the unplanned hour. We talk, we riff, we wander, we power through stories, dreams, and late night schemes. It's real life, unscripted scenes. No rules, no lines, just vibes and time. Anything can happen, it's all by design. 1 hour